Now, just before you go, Kellie-Jay, as you know, who you know as Posey Parker, braved some pretty violent trans thugs in Australia recently and in New Zealand. But the interesting thing to me, Laurence, was that only a handful of Australian politicians came out and supported her. It was incredibly disappointing for Australia. I mean, freedom of speech here, even for someone saying something as plain as let women have their own spaces, is almost dead. But I'm interested to know, is there much political support for Posey Parker in Britain?
No, the Conservative Party here try not to touch culture at all. They're not interested in these issues because they're landmine issues. But it was terrifying to see what happened to Posey. It's also, as I pointed out the other day, it's worth remembering that these people that tried to trample her to death in New Zealand are the ones that want to share bathrooms with women. So, you know, what we've got to do is we've got to have a very broad look at this whole idea of what transgenderism, so-called, is. Because actually what it is it's a very small minority of people, genuine so-called transgender people, and it's been hijacked and it's being used by the woke movement, which is violent and totally oppressive, hates free speech, and wants power and control over you. And it's terrifying. But no, I haven't heard so much as a peep from anyone on the front bench of either party. So there are some good MPs who care about this stuff. Miriam Cates, Conservative MP, and Rosie Duffield, the Labour MP. But generally speaking, our politicians, political class, so cowardly, they won't go anywhere near cultural issues or hotbed issues because they, just rather stick to the middle ground while our country slowly falls apart and freedom of speech ripped apart and women's rights are ripped apart by this misogynistic, vile movement. And you've seen what's happened in America over there in
Tennessee. Yeah.
And, this is, I mean, what happens when you start injecting a woman with a load of testosterone? What happens? I mean, are we witnessing that? The last several mass shootings in America, mass killings have been taking place by people who are, gender diverse. It should be very, very worrying for all of us, this experimentation on children and young vulnerable people.
Well, the other aspect to that seems to have been forgotten is that these people are seeking solutions to psychological problems that aren't going to be solved by, turning a chunk of skin off your arm into a fake penis or something. I mean, these people are mixed up people often with sort of anger issues, which is a light way of putting it. But, they're seeking answers in all the wrong places. I think the takeaway from this conversation, Laurence, is that the answer is cultural, not political.